everybody, Electric for Life here, bringing you guys a brand new video. So today I want to talk about all the new cards that I've kind of missed out on. We got the remaining of Ignition Assault revealed, as was also a bunch of other stuff. So I figured I might as well just go through everything in one big video and try and catch up. So first and foremost, we got the newest Gizmek card. We've been getting one of each of these guys in every set. They each do something different. Obviously, Serpentine Sky Slasher, I think is what he's called, was the most hyped one for the most part because, you know, it's perfect for Grand Maju decks. I don't think anybody's really hyped for Yada. Yada looks cool and all, but he's not particularly great. And then there's this thing, Mikazuchi. Gizmek Mikazuchi, the Nuclear Emperor, level 9 Fire Machine Effect Monster, 2750 attack, 2750 defense, and ooh boy, this card's got people hyped up. So you can only use each of its 3 effects once per turn. First effect, if there's a monster in the extra monster zones, you can special summon this card from your hand. So just flat out, if you have a link monster in the field, or if your opponent has a link or anything in the extra monster zone, you can just summon it for free. Second effect, you can target one face-up monster in an extra monster zone. Equip that target to this card, maximum of 1. And then when it destroys an opponent's monster at battle, you can special summon one of your monster cards equipped to this card. So basically what this thing is really good for is it's a really good removal for creatures in the extra monster zone. Obviously, you can steal your opponent's monster and then just get a free monster out of that as well. Or something else you can do is if you have a monster in your extra monster zone, you can special summon him, equip your own monster onto him, free up your extra monster zone, and then be able to use another monster there. And you don't lose your monster because after he kills a monster in battle, which this thing has 2750 attack, it's not going to be hard to do at all. You can summon your monster back. That is really, honestly, very interesting. I don't know if anybody's really going to be able, fully interested in using this in that way. I think it's mainly going to be used as removal for your opponent's extra monsters. But, however, being able to just, you know, empty up your extra monster zone and then continue on from there, that is a pretty interesting idea. I like that. I kind of want to try them out in some decks. This thing I can see totally be getting played a lot, especially more than Sky Slasher and Yada. Just more generic, more useful. Then we got the cards from Ignition Assault remaining. First and foremost, we got Evil Cella Lutea. It's basically an evil flower. It kind of took me a while to figure out what the heck it is. It looks like it's a brain thing, but it's not. So, it's a level 4 Earth Plant monster, 1800 attack, 100 defense. Cannot be destroyed by battle while you control another monster, and face its spell and trap cards you control cannot be targeted by card effects. It's an interesting generic card, and I'm sure it'll find a niche in some deck out there, but right now I'm not really thinking of anything. Then we got probably, actually, honestly, my most hyped card from the set now, in terms of non-archetypal stuff, Cloth Eep. I'm assuming it's just, you know, it's a play on words with cloth and sheep, obviously. It's a Link 2 Earth Beast Link monster, 700 attack, points bottom left, bottom right. And has the summoning requirements of 2 monsters with different names, so it's nightmare requirements. And you can only use each of its effects once a turn. So you can only use its effect once per turn. It only has really one effect, but however, it's a pretty good effect. So if a monster or monsters is special summoned to a zone discard points to, you can apply the following effect according to the type of monster that discard points to. Ritual, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. Fusion, special summon 1 level 4 lower monster from your graveyard. Synchro, all monsters you control gain 700 attack. Or Exceeds, all monsters your opponent controls lose 700 attack. In all honesty, the Ritual and Fusion effects are the best. The Synchro and Exceeds, not so much. They're literally just attack gaining and debuffing. I really feel like they could have done more with the Synchro and Exceeds aspect. But really, that Ritual and Fusion effect, draw 2 and discard 2, special summon a level 4 lower monster in your graveyard, those are 2 really good effects. Moreover, this effect, you can get technically both if you have it pointing to both. So let's say, I don't know, you're playing Prediction Princess Shaddolls, okay? I mean, it's a possible thing since they actually work together. And you have Winda being pointed to by this thing, and you ritual summon, well actually no, Window would be a bad idea because it locks you. Okay, let's say you have Construct being pointed to by this thing, and you ritual summon out your tarot tray. Okay, then you use Cloth Sheep's effect since you just special summon a monster to a zone it points to. And you get to draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards, as well as also special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard, because you apply the following effects. There's an S there, according to the type of monster to discard points to. You can also really jack up the power difference between your opponent's monsters and your monsters if you happen to use this effect while pointing to a synchro and XCs. But obviously the ritual infusion aspect is the best point. And honestly, I don't even care if we ever get a Fluffle Link monster now, because this thing is going to be perfect for Fluffles. God, I love it. Absolutely fantastic card. Then we got Head Judging, which I feel like is going to become a meme amongst the judges. So, it's a continuous trap. You can only use it's one effect per turn. First effect and only effect. When either player activates a monster effect, you can have the activating player toss 1 coin and call it. If they call it right, send this card to the graveyard. If they call it wrong, negate that activation. And if you do, give that player gives control of that monster to their opponent. Really good card. Well, actually, no, not really good card. It can technically, feasibly, be a really good card, but obviously, you got to rely on a coin toss. This is just going to be a little funny card. I'm sure some kids are going to love it, but it's not obviously going to be played in meta or anything. And this card very much probably will. Jack-a-Booran, which unfortunately we will not be getting around Halloween, but they are, so. That's kind of cool. It's hard to tell, but it's got like a pumpkin head on its face, on its chest. So it's a level 7 fire zombie, 1500 attack, 2200 defense. This card has a lot of people hyped up for zombie players too, by the way. First and second effect can only be used once each turn. First effect, you can discard a zombie monster, special summon this card from your hand. Right then and there, that's just really good. Oh, I'm going to discard my Mizuki. Okay, and then normal summon Glow Up Blossom, synchro for Omega, which is pretty funny. But this thing actually has a merit to using it, keeping it around, because it has an effect during your opponent's turn. During your opponent's main phase, as a quick effect, you can target 1 zombie monster in evil player's graveyard. Special summon it. Then, banish this face-up card until the end phase. And then you banish the special summon monster by this effect when it leaves the field. So it has a quick effect monster reborn just by targeting a zombie in your player's graveyard, which of course if you have Zombie World out, you can target your opponent's monsters. And special summon it, you banish this guy, you special summon that monster, and then you get this guy back at the end phase, so you can do it again. It's so good. This thing is really, really good. I get the feeling it's going to be played as a main deck staple in Zombies from here on out. I don't know how many they're going to play. Just going off of how good it is, probably 2 to 3 copies, but it's still really good. Next up, we got Gravity Controller. I love the artwork of this thing, but its effect leaves much to be desired. It's a Link 1 with 1000 attack, points to the bottom left, and it needs 1 non-Link monster in the extra monster zone. So therefore, you need to use like a Fusion, a Synchro, or an Xyz, or a Pendulum that you summoned in the extra monster zone. That right there, not too happy about that, okay? You got to invest a lot of resources into making one of those guys, and then you got to use them for a Link 1. That doesn't seem really worth it. This card cannot be used as Link material during the turn it's Link summoned. This card in the extra monster zone is not destroyed by battle by monsters in the main monster zones. At the start of the damage step, when this card battles an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone, you can return both this card and the opponent's monster to the owner's deck. This card is literally a grand mole for extra deck monsters in the extra monster zone. Oh, it can't be destroyed by monsters in the main monster zone. Okay, it still has 1000 attack. If my opponent hits me with a, I don't know, a freaking Boral sword in the main monster zone, it's gonna hurt. You know, if it halved the damage or even took no damage, I'd be more happy about that, but I digress. And then it just returned, it's a grand mole. It's a grand mole for extra monsters in the extra monster zone. That's not good. I don't like it. It's nobody plays grand mole anymore, and it's at 3. Nobody's going to play this card. Now you have to invest a lot more resources into, and it only gets rid of one specific type of creature in a specific type of monster zone. Very obnoxious. Next up, we got the next Time Thief card. This is Time Thief Recorder. I don't think I ever talked about the Xyz that they revealed or the spell card, but they're both really good. And then so is this thing. Time Thief Recorder, Dark Machine, level 4, 1000, 1000. You don't use each of its effects once per turn. During your opponent's battle phase, as a quick effect, you can tribute this card. For the rest of this turn, the first time you would take battle damage from an attack from an opponent's monster, your opponent takes the battle damage instead. If a face-up exceeds monster you control leaves the field by a card effect while this card is in the graveyard, you can spell summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. My big thing with this card is that it's just more names for Time Thieves. Time Thieves are looking really good possibly, but the thing is that they have like no main deck monsters, and they really do need those main deck monsters, so this card is pretty cool for helping that out. Next up, we got some more cards revealed. Cataclysmic Cheerful Calcagra, level 8 Earth Fairy, 2600 attack, 200 defense. You can only use its effect once per turn. If a face-up monster you control is to spread by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can, face-up Earth monster you control is to spread by battle or your opponent's card effect, you can spell summon this card from your hand, then you can send one monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you got your monster killed, you spell summon this guy, and then you can full burial something. I'm sure it's going to get played in something out there, I just can't think of anything right off the top of my head. Then we got Vualoop, the Obsession. It's a level 4 Earth Fiend Tuner effect monster. Something really weird is that there's a lot of tuners in this set. It's so weird. So, attack 1200, defense 1800. You don't use each of its effect once per turn. If it's in your hand, you can target a synchro you control or in your graveyard, banish that monster, and if you do, spell summon this card. If it's in your graveyard, you can target a synchro you control or in your graveyard, banish that monster, and if you do, add this card to your hand. It's okay. It's just a tuner that can summon itself for technically free if you have a dead synchro. Obviously, you will never, ever, ever, ever banish one of your own synchros on the field. You might use that once in a blue moon, but for the most part, you're not doing that. Let's be honest. So, yeah. And then in terms of artwork, we got my favorite card in this set. Look how adorable this little mouse is. I love it. Kind of reminds me of the Tom and Jerry episode where Jerry and his nephew, I think, are like knights from the Three Musketeers. It's just kind of funny. Anyway, so we got Toon Knight, or Chun Knight, Chew being a sound that mice make. He's a Fire Warrior Union. Interesting. Effect, level 1, 500, 500. If it's spell summon, you can treat this card as a tuner for the rest of the turn, but you can only summon one more monster from your action deck this turn. So it locks in only one more summon from your action deck, which is a bit annoying, but oh wow. Once per turn, you can either equip this face-up card you control or unequip this card and special summon it. If the equip monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card instead. He's a standard little union. This card's not going to be played at all. It's just kind of cool. He's adorable. The nicety of it is that he's a Fire Warrior and he's a level 1 that can become a tuner. So I'm sure there might be some plays out there, but the fact that he locks in only being able to special summon one more time from the extract is rather limiting. Then we got Transicada, the Earth Insect to level 3 tuner. See, I told you there's a ton of tuners. Effect monster, 800 attack, 100 defense. You don't use this card's name once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can summon one Husk token. It has the same attack stats, that it's not a tuner. Level 3, 0 attack, 0 defense. As long as the token summoned by this effect remains on a monster zone, you cannot special summon monsters from your extract except insect monsters. This card is so close to being good, but the fact that it locks in only insects kind of sucks. Might see play in crawlers or something crazy like that, but other than that, I can't think of anything. Then we got Battle Survivor. This thing's kind of interesting. It's a level 4 Earth Warrior, 1600 attack, 800 defense. You can only use its effect once per turn. At the end of the battle phase, you can add one card from your graveyard to your hand that was sent to the graveyard during the battle phase while this monster is face up, except a copy of itself. Now, it says any card, not just monsters. So you could theoretically add a quick play or a trap card that was activated during the battle phase. And it can be during either battle phase, not just yours or your opponent's. It can be either. So, let's say, for instance, you have this guy out and, like, I don't know, Shadow Mist or something. Okay, battle phase. Activate Mass Change targeting Shadow Mist. Get out your Dark Claw, starts off with Shadow Mist. Attack with Dark Claw. Attack with Battle Survivor. End of battle phase. Battle Survivor effect. Add Mass Change back to hand. That's kind of cool. Can set up for plays in the future and stuff. I don't see this card getting played heavily either, though, to be honest. Then we got Durima Otoshi. It's a level 4 Earth Warrior with 700 attack and 1800 defense. You only use these of its effects once per turn. As a quick effect, you can detach one Xyz material from a monster you control and target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes 0 until the end of this turn. A second effect, if you would detach Xyz materials from an Xyz monster you control, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead of detaching one of those materials. You cannot use this effect during the turn it was sent to the graveyard. This card is okay. I really like his graveyard effect more than his field effect, but however, I don't know. I hate how you can't use it during the turn he was sent there. That really kind of kills it. Then we got a new Sky Striker maneuver. Aren't you guys done with Sky Strikers? I mean, I love the archetype, and I love it that I'm finally going to be able to build it, like, for first time in forever. Actually, yeah, for the first time, because freaking Engage is finally actually somewhat affordable. But yeah, more Sky Striker stuff is on the way. Sky Striker Maneuver, Scissors Cross. It's a normal spell. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, target a level 4 Sky Striker Ace monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, or if you have 3 or more spell cards in your graveyard, you can special summon it instead. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's just Ace, right? Well, not really. We got a new Sky Striker main deck monster revealed finally. You know, the funny thing is that this card was revealed on Wednesday, and Tuesday night I was at my locals, and I was playing against a Sky Striker player in tournament, and he was reading off the effect of the field spell, and he's like, oh, you know, it says any Sky Striker main deck monster. And a friend of mine who was sitting next to him was like, do they plan on making more? And we were like, maybe one day. And then the next day, Rose gets revealed. So that's just kind of something funny. So Rose is I think it's kind of obvious that she's like the enemy of whatever nation or affiliate group that Kaga, or sorry, Shizuku, Rei, that's her actual name. Rei is a part of, so Rose is going to be interesting to see what they do with this, especially since Rose seems more like anti-Sky Striker support, in all honesty. Might as well just cover her too. Sky Striker Ace Rose, level 4 Light Warrior, effect monster, 1500 attack, 1500 defense. You don't use each of her effects once per turn. First effect, if a Sky Striker monster except a copy of herself is normal or spell summon, you can spell summon this card from your hand. While this card is in your graveyard, if your opponent's monster or monsters in the extra monster zone is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of your card effect while its owner controlled it, you can spell summon this card, then you can negate the effects of one face-up monster your opponent controls till the end of this turn. This card is really good overall. I think Sky Striker decks are only going to play maybe one of her until we get more of the support like later on that will actually involve her. Hopefully the possible Link 2 that people are like really clamoring for. I really love the artwork though. She looks like that crazy chick from Recreators, which, by the way, I need to check out that anime one of these days. I've heard it's really good, but I don't know. Next up we got Devil's Portrait. It's a normal trap card. You can only activate one of this card's name per turn. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls to activate. Special summon one monster with the same name from your deck or extra deck, but the monster summoned by this effect returns to the deck during the next turn's end phase. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot summon monsters from the deck or extra deck. So this card is very, very interesting. It's good for the mirror match. So let's say you're playing in the hero mirror match. Your opponent has Shadow Mist out in the field. It's their turn. You flip over this, target their Shadow Mist, special summon your own Shadow Mist from deck. Sure, you won't get to search for mask change, but if it dies, which it probably will if you're doing this during the main phase, but if it doesn't, you can switch over to your turn, you can get the search off of, sending it to your graveyard. And heck, also, while it says only for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you cannot summon monsters from the deck or extra deck, it doesn't say anything about the next turn over. So again, flipping this over on the end phase is going to be really good. I don't know if people are actually going to play this or not, but personally, I really like it for the mirror matches. It's going to be very interesting to see if people actually play it or not. Next up, we got a equip spell. We actually 2 equip spells. Disposable Learning Machine. You can only use its second effect once per turn. The equipped monster gains 200 attack for each monster in graveyard, and then during the end phase, if it was sent there from the field to the graveyard, you can set this card, but if you do, banish it when it leaves the field. Pretty interesting. It's recurable and everything. I don't think people are going to play it. 200 attack for each monster in the graveyard is just not really notable. And then we got another equipped spell, Fragile Edge Sword. You can only control one face-up Fragile Edge Sword, which really sucks. It would be hilarious if you could activate multiples of this. The equipped monster gains 2,000 attack. Also, any battle damage it inflicts is applied to both players. If you take 2,000 or more battle damage, send this card to the graveyard. Yeah. It's supposed to be a fragile sword, one shot, you know. Extreme amount of power, but can only be used once. Next up, we got Cupid's Serve. It's a light fairy, level 2, 1000 attack, 600 defense. Unaffected by activated monster effects from any monster other than monsters whose level is lower than or equal to this card's. So it's unaffected by Link and Xyz monster effects. And also everything that's not a level 1. You can banish up to 3 cards from your graveyard, increase this card's level by that number until the end of this turn. That's all it does. So it's a level 2 that can become a level 5 with 1000 attack. It's interesting for Synchro and Xyz plays, but I think that's about it. I already covered Rose. Then we got Ghost Trick Fairy. Cannot be normal summoned to face up unless you control a Ghost Trick monster. By the way, it's a level 2 Dark Spellcaster with 900 attack and 1000 defense. And once per turn, you can flip it face down. And then when this card is flipped face up, you can target one Ghost Trick card in your graveyard, set it to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Then you can change face up monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position up to number of face down cards you control. This card's good for Ghost Tricks. I don't think it's going to change anything in regards to Ghost Tricks, but it's still pretty good. I wish Ghost Tricks would get like a lot of new stuff, like something that really makes them quick effects or something to flip or face down your opponent's stuff. Then we got a new Performer Power card revealed from the next Duels pack. Normal spell, you can only activate one of this card's name per turn. Send up to 3 cards from your hand to the graveyard, and then draw that many cards. Then, if you have 2 or more cards in your Pendulum Zone, you can spell summon Perform Pal monsters, Magician Pendulum monsters, and or Odd Eyes monsters with different names from your hand up to the number of cards you drew, with levels between the pendulum scales of the cards in the Pendulum Zone, effectively getting you a second Pendulum Summon. Also, if you do not spell summon a monster with this effect, you can lose 1000 life points for each card in your hand. This card is really interesting. I don't know if it's going to be played that much, and I haven't had a chance to test it out. But honestly, I'd probably play 1 or 2 copies in my Odd Eyes build, because that deck really does need the extra draw power. You don't really care about discarding or sending stuff to your graveyard because you can recur so much. And also, of course, there's, like, for instance, one of the tuners can recur stuff from your graveyard itself. So it's a very interesting card. Lets you draw up to 3 cards. I really like that. Will it be played? Don't know. I don't know if Magicians are going to play it. Would be interesting, though. I mean, heck, worst case scenario, it's a 1-for-1 that gets you a special summon. So I don't know if it will be like anything meta relevant, but it is still something I'm rather interested in. Then we got Synchro Chase. Love this little thing here. Continuous spell. If you can only use the first effect once per turn. If you Synchro Summon a Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust Synchro monster, you can target one monster in your graveyard that has used as material for that Synchro Summon, special summon it in defense position. Second effect, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Synchro monster effects that have Warrior, Synchro, or Stardust in their original names. Pretty good card for, well, Warrior, Synchron, and Stardust. Kind of weird that they left out Junk, but oh well. Pretty good card overall. Just lets you just continue with your Synchro climbing. And then we got Subaba Bancho GC. Subaba Bancho Gagaga Coat. Level 4 Earth Warrior effect monster. 1800 attack, 100 defense. You can only use its effects once per turn. If it's in your hand and you control Subaba or Gagaga monster, except Subaba Bancho Gagaga Coat, you can spell summon this card from your hand. Second effect, you can target one Gagaga or Dododo monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Xyz monsters. Pretty good card for the Onomatopoeia deck overall, but I don't like how it locks in only Xyz monsters for the rest of the turn. That really hinders you, mostly because this deck still does not have a link. But I digress. Really good card for the deck. Definitely going to be played as like a 2 to 3 of, but we need a link. Please, Konami, give Onomatopoeia a link. Then we got Generation Next, which I freaking love this artwork and is probably going to end up being the thumbnail because, oh my god, I love it. It's bringing back so many memories. I love it. Okay, so as I might have mentioned, heroes are some of my favorite archetypes out there, and I would argue that they actually are my favorite archetype. I know that like switches every other day, but it really is the case of heroes. I grew up on GX. Yeah, sure, I watched the original series too, but I just wasn't as interested in it as much as Generation, as much as GX, and I love it. And the heroes, and oh my god, Konami retrained the original heroes already. Anyways, Generation Next. It's a quick play spell. You can only activate one card of discard's name per turn. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, take one elemental hero monster, Kribo monster, or Neospatian monster in your deck or graveyard whose attack is equal to or lower than the difference, and either add it to your hand or spell summon it, but you cannot activate cards or effects or the effects of cards of that name for the rest of this turn. This card is really good for heroes, Neospatians, and Kribo as well. So basically, imagine this: you activate a hero lives. Okay, you pay half your life points. You special summon Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist effect starts Mass Exchange. You activate this. Special summon any hero monster from your deck with less than 4,000 attack. Okay, special summon it. Link away. Okay, who cares if you can't use the effects? Yeah, sure, it sucks that you can't cheese out Stratos or another Shadow Mist or anything like that. It's another combo extender, something that's really cool. It's going to be really good for Kribo too, because Kribo is just so easy to like get the difference because they all have like 300 attack. And Neospatian just helps out a lot too, because Neospatians need all the support they can get. And then finally we have the card that I know a lot of people are hyped up for, Dark Magic Secrets. It's a quick play spell, and then you activate one of these effects. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extract using monsters from your hand or field, including Dark Magician and or Dark Magician Girl as fusion material. Or ritual summon one ritual monster from your hand You must also tribute monsters from your hand and or field, including Dark Magician and or Dark Magician Girl, whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the monsters you summon. This card is a fusion and a ritual spell put together, and it's a quick play, so you can do it during your opponent's turn. That's really, really good. And also now, since it's searchable too, because A, you can actually search it out with Magician's Rod. That allows for more search power for, like, getting into your fusions. There's just one little issue with this. Okay, Eye of Timaeus is good because it cheeses out the fusion monsters. With this card, though, you still gotta fusion summon it. You gotta like have the actual fusion requirements. So I think if you are gonna focus on the fusion aspect, King of the Swamp's gonna become a main deck staple. Okay, like especially if you want to max out on this and max out on King of the Swamp, so you can actually productively make your freaking not Dragon Master Knight, the Dark Magician Dragon Knight more often. And then also, of course, the ritual aspect is pretty nice too. Dark Magician actually has 2 rituals now, if I remember right. And both of them are pretty good, so if you want to focus on the ritual aspect, you can do that as well. So, yeah, that is everything that I believe I've missed and caught up on now. I know I was saying that Generation X is probably going to be the thumbnail, but I think it's going to be Gizmek, but I don't know. What do you guys think of everything? Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Rate, comment, and subscribe. It goes a long way to helping out my channel. And see y'all later. Thank you.